Hello everyone and welcome back to another MicroStrategy MSTR chart planning update video. I'm going to be going over Bitcoin before MSTR. This will give us a better understanding, correlation reasons on just what MSTR could be doing going forward. And just remember, everything in this video is just my own personal opinion. It is not financial advice. I have been wrong in the past, so keep that in mind. Now, before we actually jump into MSTR, if you've been watching the previous Mara videos, I've been kind of talking about MSTR on there as well. But what I am looking for is another drop in Bitcoin, which we are seeing now. I kept saying that for just real quick, for MSTR, I want to see MSTR fill in this gap, which it did, and it started coming down and nearing that 120 moving average, while at the same time showing that much needed oversold for sure, RSI, so we can start seeing that hitting the 30 potentially tomorrow around market open Monday. Now, the reason this is significant and why I want this to happen in the short term, it will give us a much more clear MSTR setup to take long trades on. And just to get into some more context, basically we've been trading now. If you have been watching Bitcoin for a while, you know that we are in very much of an uptrend for quite some time now, and we still have more to go, at least based on just macroeconomic stuff with a Bitcoin reserve coming up soon, a lot of hype, and just looking at history that, these Bitcoin bull cycles tend to last longer than now. It makes no sense for it to end late January. We are expecting much more upside on top of, again, all the bullish news that are coming out as of late, and more that will be coming out in the future. But the reason I am looking at higher prices, but in the short term, lower prices, is because, there's two forms of consolidation. There's time consolidation, which is when prices move sideways for a certain amount of time to fill in any just correction if the price has gone up too quickly, which it has. And we've been seeing that time consolidation so far. Second form is when the prices comes down or moves in a specific way opposite of the overall trend to quickly fill in any correction that's needed, any imbalances on the candles, which will then give us the opportunity to start moving up higher. So since we're on that first form instead of the second one, and we start moving up sideways a lot more, this indicates that this whole portion, and this is going to make a lot of sense in an MSTR in just a moment, but we are very clearly in the discounted portion of this overall structure that we have right here, the stage in the price. So anytime we move below just the halfway point, it's a great time to really start paying attention and seeing if we're starting to locate any previous supports that can act as support now, or if we're going to be looking at any potential imbalance fills, or if we're just looking for a wave correction pattern to be filled. In this case, and if you've been following for the last week or two, you know that I have been keeping track of this deep wave, this red area, as a completion of a third wave. This will fill in this. So starting from here to here to here, that's the first wave. We've completed a second wave, which is an overshooting B wave potentially. That will be confirmed if we can start pushing lower and break past this support right here, which is going to be very strong. And I'm expecting there to be some good liquidation walls supporting this price support going forward throughout at least overnight, leading into market open in the US tomorrow. But we have the overshooting B wave, and now we are in this triangle pattern, which we just broke, and now we're pushing down lower. We can potentially see this even briefly get filled, which, to be more specifically, this is just a measurement tool. The moment we even go 1 cent below the swing low, that is valid at that point. But just so I don't ramble on too much, we are moving lower. I'm keeping my eyes onto for this support right here, this invisible line I don't have drawn, and then potentially coming down closer and completing this structure down here, which we are moving. Again, we are moving towards it. This is why it's very important to be patient and wait for, a break of structure in either direction, which in this case is in our favor, at least for our short-term eyes to take positions real soon. So if you saw the last Mara video or any previous ones, you know that I am very clearly looking for 3 checkpoints. just like in Mara with MSTR, we have this uptrend that started not too long ago, where we had a low from the previous low, a lower low. Then in this case, it's a little bit different from MicroStrategy, but not too much. The structure is pretty much the same. We went up higher, broke past this swing high, so we have a higher high, came down, found support, we have a higher low, breaking up higher, higher high. So after this very aggressive sell-off, consolidation, a little bit of fake outs, which is very important to be patient, a little bit of a fake out, and then it came back down, which in this case, it's actually it's sort of a WXY pattern where we see a corrective pullback, not really getting near the previous swing high, and then eventually coming down a bit lower. Now, the reason this is significant is because we have a very clear three-wave pattern. Now, instead of seeing lower lows and lower highs, we are seeing a higher high and higher low kind of pattern forming. And what makes me very bullish on this stock, and especially if we can see this dip a little bit more Monday, which is tomorrow, would means that we will surpass this 120 moving average or potentially even just consolidate at it early tomorrow, while at the same time being in the discounted portion of this retracement area that I have here in orange. And then third of all, at the same time, go ahead and hit that 30 on the RSI and potentially even break below the 30. Even briefly will be very, very great accumulation in my opinion. So these three checkpoints are being hit. They are pretty much over 90% filled. We're just about there. It's good enough. We're at that 120. I would like to see it come down a little bit more. Stretch coming down to that 0.618 as close as possible. Even if we slightly break below it, that'll be fine. I believe it's going to be a quick recovery after. And that would also maximize that RSI on the downside. The reason this is very significant is because, of course, just like in the past, every big move up always has to have reasonable corrections in place. And this is why it's very important to be patient in these publicly traded markets, just because we don't know what's going to happen, but we can set ourselves up to be in a better position for what makes sense. So again, one more time, because there's not really much to talk about, is we finally are seeing a change of trend, which instead of seeing those lower lows and lower highs, we now have a higher high from here, right here, and then a higher low from here, or from here to here. So we are seeing that change. We had another push up from there, indicating that there is most likely definitely a change of trend, and now we're starting to come down. A little bit of consolidation forming a smaller WXY pattern, sort of, but in my eyes, it can come down just a little bit more. I believe it won't come down for too long. I believe it will be very short-lived because there is enough oversoldness, at least considering this overall trend. If we consider as well this support line right here, it can come down, find support somewhere here, which would also be within our more of a larger picture background. What used to be a resistance can now act as support. So it overlaps this, filling in previous price action right here. We saw a little bit of a dip come up higher. It perfectly aligns with that. Where there's imbalance as well, it got filled, but this can act as a magnet once again. But I would not be too cautious when it comes to at least whatever time horizon you have, because we also briefly broke into this next leg up area, which indicates that there is bullish presence in our hands right here. So we come down, very clear corrective move back into this retracement area. We can easily find support at the 120, or we can come down a little bit more and find support right here where these lines mix. Regardless, this will be very short-lived, so I wouldn't hold back too much if you believe in the short-term bullishness of the stock. But if it does come down even to the 120 or break below it a little bit, trying to get to this 0.618, this will also maximize RSI on the downside. All my check boxes are hits. I would not be surprised if tomorrow I take a position in the stock if I see continuation of this coming down a little bit more. It'll be very bullish, at least for me, in my opinion, and I will be very much interested in purchasing a long position within this chart. So I hope this video made sense, guys. Just remember, this can easily come down a little bit more tomorrow, break past below this 120, because again, Bitcoin is where it matters. This is what really matters. And we have support here, and then support here, and support here, with at the same time also evidence that a potential third wave move can happen. It is very much still alive. So we can see this as we come down, we come back up. I wouldn't be surprised if the price comes up into this imbalance right here, comes up and then gets rejected and comes down a little bit more. Again, this is where patience really matters, and this is why it's very important to be patient and understand what the bigger picture looks like. Again, one more time, I believe this can come down a bit more overnight, leading into market open tomorrow, which may be a red day, in at least from what we're seeing right now, if we can't push up any higher and surpass the low previous swing higher that we have, which in this case for MicroStrategy, this will give us a really good deep value opportunity to accumulate and then try to profit as we continue to push up higher. If this does happen, I will give you guys an update video. Again, if you guys saw my last video, if I miss out, if this just pushes up and maximizes the screen area, it's okay. I do have a BITU, two background trades with BITU and with spot Bitcoin. So if we do push up higher, I'm not missing out. That's why I am very chill and calm with this pattern. But if Bitcoin can stay down and very easily go below $100,000 tomorrow, very easily, then this can push down a lot more. The further it comes down, the better, maximizing that RSI to the downside and further strengthening a much better buying opportunity to begin accumulating shares. Now, after that, of course, we're seeing much higher upside. You guys already know I'm looking for the price to soon enough start trading up here, and then eventually back up over 500,000 or $500 this year. But this is where it matters. This is what really matters right here. We're going to see this push up a little bit, maybe get rejected in this imbalance or with this trend line. And that'll be in favor if you really want a good deep value buying opportunity in MicroStrategy. So I hope this video made sense, guys. Again, it's very important to be patient. And if you got faked out right here, well, there's a potential floor coming up real soon. So again, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it made sense. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.